The quiet suburban streets of Eastwood Heights, just outside of Richmond, Virginia, were rocked on the night of December 20th, 2023, when two bodies were discovered at 1826 Willowcrest Lane, the home of the Thompson family. A cozy two-story colonial, decked in twinkling holiday lights, became the epicenter of a horrific double homicide after neighbor Denise Holloway reported hearing shouting and seeing strange movement near the property. Responding officers Tyrone Maxwell and Andre Chun of the Richmond Metropolitan Police were the first on scene. Upon entry, they found evidence of a violent struggle: overturned furniture, shattered glass, and bloodstains streaking the hardwood floors. In the master bedroom, they discovered the body of Nicole Thompson, 34, lying face up. Her neck bore deep ligature marks, suggesting strangulation. Defensive wounds on her arms and hands made it clear she fought until the end. In the backyard, officers made a second gruesome discovery. Floating in the family's in-ground pool was Donovan Reed, 35, a well-known real estate developer in the area. He had been stabbed multiple times in the chest and torso. Blood trailed across the icy pool deck, staining the snow. The calculated placement of his body and the precision of the wounds hinted at something far more premeditated than a simple burst of rage. Detective Ayanna Brooks, lead investigator with Richmond Homicide, took charge of the case. Several disturbing details caught her attention. The home's security system had been disabled, yet there were no signs of forced entry. This suggested the killer was familiar with the property. Two sets of tire tracks in the fresh snow-matched vehicles belonging to Donovan Reed and Marcus Thompson, Nicole's husband, and a respected sergeant with the Richmond Police Department's 3rd Precinct. Marcus, 37, was nowhere to be found. His service weapon, a Glock 22, was missing from its locked storage unit in the master bedroom. Surveillance from neighboring homes showed Donovan's black BMW X5 arriving at the Thompson residence earlier that evening, and Marcus's Navy Ford Explorer leaving later. The couple's 3 children, Jalen, 12, Roman, 9, and Imani, 7, had been dropped off earlier that day at their aunt's house on Chestnut Grove Lane for a planned sleepover. The timeline of events, combined with the children's absence, raised troubling questions about intent and planning. Forensic expert Dr. Malcolm Gaines led the crime scene analysis. His team found no signs of theft. Valuables, electronics, and jewelry were untouched. The methodical nature of the killings, combined with different techniques used on each victim, made it clear this wasn't random. It was orchestrated. Within 24 hours, Detective Brooks issued a statewide bolo, "Be on the lookout," for Marcus Thompson and his vehicle. The case was reclassified as a suspected double homicide with domestic motives, an unprecedented event in the upscale, crime-free enclave of Eastwood Heights, which hadn't seen a major violent incident since its establishment in 2006. The contrast between the holiday cheer still gleaming from the home's roofline and the horror discovered inside cast a chilling shadow over the community. The responding officers would later describe the scene as something that would haunt them for the rest of their careers. As word spread, neighbors gathered behind yellow tape, stunned and whispering, trying to make sense of the brutal violence that shattered the image of the perfect Thompson family. Marcus's personnel file painted him as a model officer. Since joining the force in 2008, he'd earned commendations for bravery and mentorship. Captain Leon Carter, his supervisor, described him as diligent, sharp, and devoted to his family. In his 15 years of service, Marcus had made over 800 arrests, with only 2 civilian complaints, both dismissed upon review. The Thompsons had moved to Willowcrest Lane in 2010, just after their wedding. Neighbors often spoke of Marcus's deep involvement in community life, organizing block safety meetings, volunteering at youth sports leagues. Nicole, a pediatric nurse at St. Mary's Children's Hospital, was beloved by her colleagues for her warmth and tireless compassion. Donovan entered the Thompsons' lives in 2010 when he helped them purchase their home. What began as a professional relationship deepened into a close personal friendship. Donovan became a regular presence, attending cookouts, birthday parties, and holiday dinners. Security camera logs showed Donovan visiting the Thompsons' home 3 times a week on average over the past 13 years. His black BMW was seen so often that neighbors assumed he was a cousin or godfather to the kids. On December 15, 2022, Nicole gifted Marcus an Ancestry DNA kit as an anniversary present. Banking records later confirmed Marcus purchased 3 additional kits for the children on January 3, 2023. The DNA was sent to Ancestry DNA on January 10th. What came back on February 1st, 2023, would fracture Marcus's world. According to lab reports, there was a 0% probability that he was the biological father of any of the children. The test results revealed strong European ancestry markers, conflicting sharply with Marcus's African-American background. Search history from Marcus's laptop showed multiple visits to genealogy and paternity testing websites. On February 15th, he ordered new kits from 23andMe, this time using pseudonyms to ensure unbiased processing. The second batch of results, received on March 3rd, confirmed the heartbreaking truth. Computer forensics would later show Marcus spent months gathering digital evidence, researching paternity fraud, reading academic papers on genetics, and lurking in online support groups for men facing the same discovery. He downloaded facial recognition software, analyzed photos, and cross-referenced traits. On March 15th, financial logs show Marcus withdrew $5,000 from his savings account to retain Thomas Bell, a private investigator. Case files recovered later revealed the PI's detailed surveillance of Nicole and Donovan, photos, GPS logs, cell tower data, and timestamps. His notes indicated the pair met frequently during Marcus's overnight shifts, often at a quaint coffeehouse in downtown Richmond or at Donovan's high-rise condo near the river. Text messages between Marcus and his sister Renee Marshall, dated April 2023, further exposed his mental state. One message read, "Looking at old pics, how did I not see it?" Donovan's smile in Roman, his eyes in Jalen. Even Imani's head tilt, it's him. It's always been him. Renee's replies expressed growing concern. She pleaded with Marcus to get counseling or talk to a lawyer, but he refused, insisting he needed undeniable proof. By mid-2023, cracks had begun to show. Disciplinary reports documented 3 cases of excessive force during arrests and growing complaints about Marcus's aggressive behavior. In September, Captain Carter ordered a psychological evaluation. Marcus passed. No signs of distress. No flags. Still, his colleagues noticed the difference. He stopped socializing. He spent hours alone at his desk, obsessively combing through old case files. Surveillance footage from the months leading up to December showed Marcus trailing Donovan on multiple occasions, cataloging his movements, logging his schedule, and noting personal contacts. Surveillance camera footage revealed Marcus Thompson parked for hours outside Donovan Reed's downtown office, often on his days off. What began as a simple DNA test had spiraled into an all-consuming obsession. Bank records showed Marcus began making frequent small cash withdrawals throughout 2023, amounting to over $20,000 by December. Around that time, he purchased a prepaid cell phone and began using it to discreetly monitor Donovan's movements. Later, investigators discovered a personal journal locked in Marcus's desk drawer at the precinct. The entries grew increasingly dark, filled with themes of betrayal, justice, and vengeance. The final entry, dated December 19, 2023, read simply, "The truth demands action. Tomorrow, everything changes." Private investigator Thomas Bell had continued monitoring Donovan after uncovering his secret meetings with Nicole. In May 2023, during routine surveillance of Donovan's drives to Mississippi Avenue, Bell tracked him to 1275 Lakeshore Road East, apartment 803. Property records showed the residence belonged to Renee Martinez, 33, a French teacher at Port Creek Secondary School. What Bell uncovered next sent shockwaves through the investigation. According to public documents, Donovan and Renee met in 2014 at a real estate seminar in Toronto. By 2015, they were living together at the Lakeshore apartment. Their union had produced 2 children, Emma Reed, now 7, and Marcus Reed, 5. Renee's social media painted a polished portrait of domestic bliss, Donovan smiling at school events, posing in holiday photos, and enjoying beach vacations. There was no trace of his second life in Eastwood Heights, and no mention of Nicole or the Thompson children. Financial records told the rest of the story. Donovan had maintained 2 entirely separate financial identities. One set of accounts through RBC funded his life with Renee, while a second set with TD Bank supported his activities and lifestyle in Eastwood Heights. Mortgage payments, utilities, children's school fees, everything meticulously divided. Cell tower data confirmed Donovan spent roughly 40% of his nights at the Mississauga apartment, usually while telling the Thompsons he was traveling for work or attending real estate seminars. He maintained separate wardrobes at each location. At the Eastwood home, he drove a black BMW X5. In Mississauga, he used a gray Mercedes GLC. Bell's photos captured Donovan attending parent-teacher meetings at Port Creek Secondary, listed as the primary contact for both children. School records confirmed he was a regular presence, known by staff, and involved in his kids' education. Yet back in Eastwood Heights, Donovan was no less present. He was active in the Thompson children's lives, attending soccer games, school plays, and holiday pageants. Digital forensics uncovered Donovan's use of two phones, an iPhone for Eastwood communications and a Samsung Galaxy for his life with Renee. The messages showed a careful balancing act, with Donovan crafting stories and excuses to juggle commitments on both sides without raising suspicion. Marcus's journal entries from June 2023 documented the psychological toll of these revelations. One entry read, "He didn't just steal my family. He made another one while tearing mine apart. Every laugh with my kids, every memory, just lies. Cold, calculated lies." Driven by rage and disbelief, Marcus began conducting his own surveillance on the Mississauga residence. He followed Donovan. He snapped photos of him picking up Renee's kids from school. He logged details, timestamps, locations, license plate numbers. Social media analysis showed Renee had no clue about Donovan's dual life. Her captions described him as a loving, devoted husband and father. Photos showed Donovan reading bedtime stories, coaching t-ball, decorating the Christmas tree. Likewise, pictures from Thompson family gatherings showed Donovan playing uncle, holding Imani on his shoulders, or helping Jalen with homework, his duplicity masked by charm and consistency. The psychological strain on Marcus began showing at work. Colleagues noted he was distracted, often buried in surveillance photos or scrawling in notebooks. Captain Leon Carter's logs revealed Marcus had started requesting time off in patterns that coincided with Donovan's known appearances in Mississauga. By September 2023, Marcus had amassed an exhaustive dossier. Found later in his police locker, the file included detailed maps of Donovan's routes, side-by-side family trees, and financial breakdowns of each household. A particularly chilling note dated September 15th read, "D lives two perfect lives. Mine was built on nothing. His kids are real. Mine never were. Justice should be equal." As the leaves changed in fall 2023, Marcus's behavior escalated. Between October and December, surveillance logs and police records documented concerning activity. Using his department credentials, Marcus installed advanced tracking software on Nicole's phone, software typically reserved for authorized investigations. He could see every message, every call, every location ping. Logs later revealed he falsified documentation to requisition the spyware. Security footage at the 3rd Precinct showed Marcus spending countless off-duty hours hunched over his computer. His browser history revealed research into untraceable poisons, body disposal techniques, and justifiable homicide case law. Between October 1st and December 19th, he accessed police case files involving domestic homicides 147 times. On November 12th, Marcus purchased a high-resolution camera and audio surveillance devices from Specialty Store downtown, charging the full amount to his personal card. Store security video showed him requesting gear capable of recording through walls and glass. That same week, he rented second storage unit, this one closer to Donovan's downtown condo at 455 Wellington Street West. Bank statements showed Marcus had withdrawn $45,000 from his pension fund on November 28th, converting most of it to cash through ATM withdrawals across the Greater Toronto area. Surveillance footage showed him wearing different disguises, ball caps, sunglasses, even a beard, clearly attempting to mask his identity. The breaking point came on December 15th. According to data from the spyware Marcus installed, Nicole arrived at Donovan's condo at 2:15 p.m. Security cameras captured Marcus parked across the street in his Ford Explorer, dash cam running. He watched from a distance as Nicole entered, staying for over 3 hours. That night, Marcus returned to his vehicle and failed to turn off his police-issued body camera after his shift. The audio it captured was chilling. Alone in the darkness, he whispered a monologue to himself. 13 years. 13 years of lies. Every birthday, every Christmas, every hug, every I love you, a goddamn joke. They played me. They laughed at me. They built a life behind my back. This ends now. In the final 5 days before December 20th, Marcus's actions pointed to premeditation. Receipts showed purchases of rope, plastic sheeting, gloves, and cleaning chemicals from multiple hardware stores across Eastwood. Each transaction was made in cash. The dates aligned with surveillance footage showing Marcus driving Route Recon across the city. In the days leading up to the murders, Marcus Thompson visited his bank's safety deposit box on 3 separate occasions, removing personal documents, family photos, and unidentified envelopes. His internet history revealed late-night searches on hypothermia, drowning statistics, and techniques for staging crime scenes to mislead investigators. Department logs showed Marcus had formally requested December 20th off, citing family obligations. That morning, he dropped off Jalen, Roman, and Imani at his sister Renee Marshall's home, telling her contractors were fixing a problem with the home's heating system. Renee would later report that Marcus seemed unusually calm, even cheerful, helping the children with their schoolwork before heading out. At 2 p.m., security footage from Donovan Reed's real estate office captured Marcus arriving. The 2 men greeted each other warmly, discussing their plan to watch that evening's hockey game, an event they had shared many times before. Text messages from Marcus to both Donovan and Nicole throughout the day coordinated what would become their final evening together. At 5:45 p.m., Marcus stopped at a liquor store near his home and purchased a bottle of Donovan's favorite whiskey. Cameras caught him sitting in his SUV immediately after the transaction, unscrewing the bottle cap and slipping an unknown substance into the liquor. Forensic analysis would later confirm it contained Revitol, a potent sedative stolen from a narcotics case 3 weeks earlier. Home security footage dated December 20th, 2023, captured the victim's final moments. At 7:15 p.m., Donovan's black BMW X5 pulled into the driveway of 1826 Willowcrest Lane. He entered the house with a 6-pack of beer in hand, his usual contribution to their game night routine. At 7:22 p.m., Donovan sent a text to Renee Martinez. "Working late at the office tonight. Don't wait up." Meanwhile, Nicole Thompson was at the Kelsey Original Roadhouse on Queen Street East, enjoying a dinner outing with colleagues from St. Mary's Children's Hospital. The home's smart thermostat showed normal movement until 8:45 p.m., when motion in the living room suddenly stopped. Toxicology reports would later confirm Donovan had ingested a heavy dose of Revitol. The opened whiskey bottle found near the scene contained trace amounts of the same drug. The coroner's report was gruesome. Donovan had suffered 17 stab wounds to the chest and abdomen. Defensive cuts on his palms indicated he regained consciousness during the attack. Water in his lungs confirmed he was still alive when his body was submerged in the pool. The weapon, a K-bar tactical knife purchased by Marcus in November, was never recovered. Security footage from nearby homes showed Marcus scrubbing the back patio with bleach around 9:45 p.m. He then changed clothes and placed the bloody garments into a trash bag, later discovered in a dumpster behind a Tim Hortons in Mississauga. Nicole's iPhone tracking data revealed she left Kelsey's at 10:30 p.m. Her final message, sent at 10:45 p.m., read, "Home safe, thanks for a fun night." At 10:52 p.m., her arrival triggered the foyer's motion sensor. The smart lighting system showed lights being turned on one by one, evidence she moved through the house looking for Donovan. At 11:15 p.m., a neighbor reported hearing a piercing scream. The medical examiner ruled her cause of death as manual strangulation, lasting approximately 3 to 5 minutes. Bruising on her neck matched Marcus's hand span. Defensive wounds and broken fingernails told the story of a desperate fight. After the murders, Marcus moved with chilling precision. He overturned furniture, shattered decor, and scattered blood to simulate a violent domestic altercation. At 11:38 p.m., his Ford Explorer was caught on traffic cameras exiting the subdivision and heading north on Highway 410. Investigators quickly recognized the scene had been staged by someone with insider knowledge. Indicators of forced entry were deliberately manufactured. The bodies were positioned to evoke a narrative of jealousy and impulse rather than calculated planning. But Marcus had planned everything. On December 19th, he had transferred $100,000 to an offshore account and acquired a forged passport under the name Michael Robertson. The evidence made clear this was not a breakdown, it was an escape plan. DNA retrieved from the scene provided definitive proof of what Marcus had suspected all along. Donovan Reed was the biological father of Jalen, Roman, and Imani. As dawn broke on December 24th, the true weight of the Thompson family tragedy came into view. Detective Ayanna Brooks, a 17-year veteran of the Richmond Homicide Unit, stepped into the crime scene and instantly recognized the hallmarks of someone trained in police procedure. The major break came on December 26th, when DNA results from the Ontario Centre of Forensic Sciences confirmed Donovan's paternity of all 3 children. Suddenly, the motive that had eluded investigators became clear. This wasn't just about murder. It was about betrayal, fatherhood, and identity. Surveillance footage and financial records began painting a fuller picture of Marcus's state of mind. On November 5th, he crossed the Thousand Islands Bridge into Canada under the guise of a weekend off, staying in a Mississauga motel just blocks from Donovan's second home. Investigators then uncovered a newly acquired $2 million life insurance policy taken out by Marcus on Donovan's life, filed on December 1st, with Marcus Thompson as sole beneficiary. The suspicious timing and Marcus's position as a police officer triggered immediate scrutiny. The manhunt intensified. On January 2, 2024, a breakthrough came when a license plate reader in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, flagged Marcus's Ford Explorer, abandoned in a long-term parking lot. Nearby surveillance footage showed Marcus boarding a bus heading north toward remote woodlands near Wawa. On January 5th, acting on a tip from a local hunter, Ontario Provincial Police surrounded a rustic cabin roughly 50 kilometers north of Wawa. After a tense 4-hour standoff, Marcus finally emerged, holding a 9mm Glock in one hand and a thick manila envelope in the other. The envelope's contents were staggering, a 76-page handwritten manifesto detailing his descent from suspicion to vengeance. It included photographs of Donovan with both families, bank statements showing the financial deceit, and all 3 paternity test results. During his initial interrogation with Detective Brooks, Marcus remained composed. His first words: "I've given you everything you need to understand. What I did wasn't murder. It was justice." Over the next 48 hours, Marcus gave a full confession. His police training was evident in the clarity of his timeline and the tactical awareness of every step. He described the moment he saw the DNA results as the death of everything I believed in. He recounted the killings without remorse, justifying them as the only way to make sense of a world that had betrayed him. Perhaps most chilling of all was what Marcus believed to his core. They took my family. They took my identity. They took my entire world. I just balanced the scales. What are your thoughts on this story? Was Marcus wrong to want revenge? Could he have gone about it in a better way? Share your thoughts in the comments section. And please stay with us as we continue to expose and bring to you more stories like this. Keep watching. And be sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of these stories. This is Ruthless Realities. Until next time.